Fine. Okay, shalom everyone. This is Tuesday night Torah study, and we are going to get started. We're in Numbers chapter 8.
Tell them why we were late. We had internet trouble.
Internet trouble. Always having internet trouble.
That's why we were late.
Yeah, so that's why we're a little late. Technology is supposed to make man's life easier. It makes him a man more miserable. So, all right. Numbers chapter 8. And Adonai spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you ascend." When you ascend, what does that mean?
When you go up.
You go up. Okay, so to trim the lamps. This is a spiritual thing.
Oh, yes, ascend to trim the lamp.
Yes, he has to go up.
Huge.
So that's a huge deal.
The menorah we're talking about.
Yeah, so he's going up. It's a spiritual elevation. Let the 7 lamps give light in front of the lampstand. So 7 is perfection and also contains revelation. And so it's a spiritual walk. We should ascend. Then Aaron did so. Verse 3. He set up the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand as Adonai commanded Moshe. This is the work of the lampstand. Beaten work of gold from its base to its bottom is beaten work according to the pattern which Adonai had shown Moshe. So he made the lampstand. And Adonai spoke to Moshe, saying, "Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and you shall cleanse them." Okay. So notice the steps here. The Levites had to be cleansed first, right? Why is baptism so important? Okay.
Wash away our sins.
It's
Symbolic.
symbolic to, that's very important to get baptized. Okay. Verse 7, and do this to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of sin offering on them. And they shall shave all their body and shall wash their garments and cleanse themselves. And shall take a young bull with its grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, while you take another bull as a sin offering. And you shall bring the Levites before the tent of appointment, and you shall assemble all the congregation of children of Israel. So who was there at their cleansing? All of Israel, right? And you shall bring the Levites before Adonai, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on the Levites. So
all the congregation, wow.
So everybody's involved, right?
All the assembly, yeah.
Verse 11, and Aaron shall wave the Levites before Adonai a wave offering from the children of Israel, so shall they be for the doing of the service of Adonai. And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the young bulls, and one shall be prepared as a sin offering, and the other as an ascending offering to Adonai to make atonement for the Levites. So the Levites had to be atoned. Everybody had to be atoned.
Is this another study for me to ask the difference between like a wave offering and a burnt offering? And they got different.
Yeah, they got different.
You start at Leviticus 1, and it explains each one.
Okay, Leviticus 1.
Yeah, it starts with the burnt offering.
Yes, I know there's so many, there's
Leviticus
different
1,
ones.
2, and 3, and maybe 4 also.
Okay.
Glenn, in verse 11, did it say Aaron has to wave the Levites? I think it may.
And Aaron shall wave the Levites before Adonai.
Wave them. Wow. How does he wave a person?
Wait, let me.
Mine says present the Levites.
Oh, what verse is that?
11.
And the Aaron shall wave the Levites before Adonai.
As a wave offering?
A wave offering from the children of Israel.
And Aaron must cause the Levites to move to and fro before Jehovah as a wave offering.
Oh, what's
from
that?
the sons of Israel, and then the
Yeah. They did the wave. So they didn't,
What translation is that?
This is the New World Translation.
Oh, wow.
That's
So-
a wave offering. That's
So-
it.
You know, in the football
So you're
stadiums and the baseball
dancing, it's
stadiums,
like
they all stand up and do the
football.
wave.
Yeah.
And we thought we invented that. It's right here in the Bible.
They're doing the wave offering. That is it.
Swing and sway with Sammy K.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
I'm gonna ask a
awesome.
question on
Yeah.
and they cleanse themselves, okay? Not everybody went into the baptismal. You only got baptized once, right?
No, the mikvah. No.
Judaism,
In Judaism,
many times you have to be
They go, like, they have mikvahs in
Israel.
Israel.
Is that right?
And when you convert, you got to go down into the mikvah.
What's the
But they had to go.
It's
they
like
had to
our baptism. They have to
Yeah.
walk down in this. They got this special
cover
place.
their whole body.
Come up.
Covers their whole body, and they come out.
And they
They have
do baptism.
They had to do that every
For
time
conversions, yup.
before they can enter the temple because you might have gotten contaminated
Every time. Yeshua had to go through it every time.
because your feet would be contaminated from the ground. I mean, you had to
So
cleanse
that's why
yourself.
that guy that was parked outside by the pond,
By the
Yeah.
temple, yeah.
he couldn't get in because everybody else was faster than he could get there.
Yeah, that was a special
Yeah,
pool
that
for
was
healing.
he was waiting
That was
for the
a pool for
angel to
healing.
stir
Yeah.
it, but
But-
that I don't know if that's the pool that one of them that there's one right below the temple where we saw they were excavating it, and I thought that was called the pool Siloam. Was it
Yeah.
called Siloam?
Yeah.
It's where everybody went through before they went. Then there were lots of steps to go.
Well, they
up
had
to the
different
temple.
ones for women, different one for men.
Yeah.
They're always, when they do archaeological digs, they're always finding them all over the place.
Yeah. Because houses had them too.
Yeah, houses had them
So
too.
That's why, because there was such a crowd of people marching through it,
Yeah.
it had to have fresh water flowing in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was the
Yeah,
rule.
yeah.
It had to have fresh water flowing in.
It
It
Every
had to be
temple.
fresh water. The springs of whatever they call them.
So
Yeah.
explain to me how it works. Back in the old day and now.
Well,
I
you know
don't
all the
get it.
things that can
I
contaminate
know
you.
we do a baptismal. No, I'm trying to get a visual on the water. What are they walking through?
It's-
A pool. It's like a
Oh.
swimming pool, but
Okay.
you walk down in,
Oh,
get
but
your
it's
whole
like a
body,
pond.
and you dunk you do it yourself. They don't have somebody
Oh.
dunking you like Christians do now, like
Yeah.
we do in Christianity. But you just do it yourself. Of course, it said John baptized people. Well, he might have just stood there or something. I don't think he pushed them down in.
Because
Maybe
I
it's
always
different.
thought that was a new thing that came out of the air. I'm like, when did they start baptizing? I didn't know that.
Well, the thing that was new about John's, it was a baptism of repentance.
Repentance.
There's before that, it's just a cleansing from contamination.
Yes.
From, what it's called
Contamination.
defiling, it's called in the Bible, right? Like if you touch a dead animal, you were defiled. What are all those things? If you have a discharge somewhere, then you're defiled. If you have a sore, all these things can defile you. And walking near a grave, I mean, all kinds of things. So to get into the temple, instead of trying to decide whether you were defiled, you just
Just wash yourself.
did your baptism, they call it a mikvah, before you entered the
They
temple.
called it a mikvah.
Yeah, mikvah means like,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And,
Just think of it as a room about the size of Bill's office in there where, it's like a miniature pool, whatever. They went down in and out the other side. And women had one and men
They
had
just
one.
walked through it.
Yeah.
Walked through it. Oh,
Yeah. Dip down in, they got down in underneath, come back up and walked out the other side. They haven't been in Israel today yet,
yeah.
and they
And
use them
the
for
woman,
special.
every month, the woman has to be cleansed after.
Yeah, women have to use it more than men, really.
So,
wow.
let's see.
And why didn't they ever rebuild the temple?
Well, God said they were going to destroy it. God said He was going to destroy it.
Well, but they've never
But
really,
why haven't they rebuilt it?
because the Muslims have their mosque there.
Yeah.
Oh, and they have to build it in the same spot?
Yeah,
where
because
God said, yeah. That's
the
what-
stone,
yeah.
the center, the rock where the Holy of Holies is. That's where they got to build it. They got to have the Holy of Holies right over where the rock is. So,
all
yeah.
these years, they could never get that done.
They can't,
Well, they would have a war if they tried to take the.
see,
Oscar. There'd
Come
be
from the
war.
land, and it took them a long time to get back there.
yeah.
Oh.
They've been in
1940 years
exile,
later.
see?
Yeah, they were in exile. Rome took over and exiled them, and they never owned it until 1948. You know about that, right? Right after World War
Right.
II.
The prophets
Well,
all prophesied
I
it.
didn't know they had to have a certain spot.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We build churches everywhere.
yeah.
We don't
Oh,
have no certain
right.
Well,
spot.
God said exactly where to build it.
See, they have
He told-
synagogues
he told
now.
David exactly where.
But
to
the
build it.
temple is it. No temple, no sacrifice, no Moses
There's
law.
only one
Spot.
temple.
Yeah, there's only one.
On the hill.
That-
On the-
Mount Zion.
Right, Zion, in the-
That's-
But see, they couldn't because after they were exiled, after it's only 30 years, 40 years after Yeshua died and rose again, that Rome came in. Ever since then, it's been other countries that own that rule that land. Ever since, until 1948, the Jewish people never had it back.
Well, how come
So-
God promised it to them?
I guess
and
they
didn't
had it
let
back
them
one-
enjoy it?
Because
they
they
did have it back for a
sinned.
short time in
They
the.
lost it.
They were sinning. They were doing idolatry worship. It's no different than today. You try it, if you take,
Well,
Anyways.
It's no big deal. I totally get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. And I'm not questioning God, but in this Judaism, you question stuff.
Well, sure.
I'm saying, what's up, God? You say all this stuff in here, you make all these
Look-
promises, and not all of them were screwing up. There were some good ones, and why can't they have their land? It's chaos.
he's going to, because
But he warned them and warned them and warned them for 100 years.
Yeah.
And they just but now since the exile, they don't worship idols. I mean, there are some people that do
Yeah.
stuff and everything.
But-
So in this book that you have
Okay, all right.
on this clean and unclean, all these things tell you all
Yeah.
about the things that make
Yeah.
you clean,
Okay.
things unclean.
Okay.
So it's on the.
I'll look
We
at
gotta
it.
get-
we'll go through that.
So it's
We'll
on
talk about that later, and I'll quit being so controversial, but I'm.
No, you're not controversial. You're just asking questions.
Okay, all right.
You're saying
Gotta
one
get the
thing?
program.
Yeah.
All right, Ken.
Let's
I
go
guess,
on and on. I don't need 10-minute dissertation.
Yeah.
Facts.
okay,
Okay. We'll cover some more stuff tomorrow night.
okay.
So, okay, 14. Thus you shall separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. Okay. Then after that, the Levites shall go in to do the service of the tent of appointments, when you have cleansed them and waved them as a wave offering. Okay. So they're just
Notice they have to shave their whole body just like the
Yes.
Nazarite vow. people
yes,
have
it's
to.
just like a Nazarite vow.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't it interesting that Jesus said, "I will drink no wine until."
I drink it new.
I drink it anew in heaven. So it was almost like he was doing a Nazarite vow until he died.
Yeah,
Okay, interesting things. For they are given ones, given to me from among the children of Israel. I have taken them for myself, instead of all who open the womb. Notice he says, I have taken them. Okay, so when God takes something, it's his. All right. So, for myself, instead of all who open the womb, the firstborn of all the children of Israel. For all the firstborn among the children of Israel are mine, both men and beast. On the day that I struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I set them apart unto myself. And I have taken the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and his sons from among the children of Israel. Okay, here's what they're supposed to do. He gave them to Aaron and his sons, the Kohen, to do service of the children of Israel in the tent of appointment and to make atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near to the holy place. Okay?
so their job is to make sure everybody stays clean.
Yeah, their job is to support the priesthood.
Yeah,
Aaron,
and they do the labor.
heavy labor. Otherwise, the children of Israel will have plagues. And you're going to see them, they're going to have plagues.
Oh, okay.
Then Moshe and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according to all that Adonai commanded Moses or Moshe concerning the Levites, so the children of Israel did to them. Verse 21. And the Levites cleansed themselves and washed their garments, and Aaron waved them a wave offering before Adonai, and Aaron made atonement for them to cleanse them. Then after that, the Levites went to do their service in the tent of appointments before Adonai and his sons, as Adonai commanded Moshe concerning the Levites, so they did to them. So to me, it's like a cleansing and a dedication. The wave is like a dedication. So today in churches, of course, you pick somebody that's been cleansed, right? You picked a believer that's been baptized.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pick anybody else to do service in church who isn't a believer and isn't cleansed.
Yeah.
And then they have a dedication for them. Dedication. I know we did that in the Mennonite church. So someone's going to be a deacon or an elder. They have a dedication service. They pray over them and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Verse 23, and Adonai spoke to Moshe, saying, this applies to the Levites from 25 years old and above. Let them come into the active service in the service of the tent of appointment. And at the age of 50 years, they retire from active service of the service and serve no more. But they shall attend with their brothers in the tent appointment to guard the duty, but shall do no service. Okay, so from age 25 to age 50, they do the work. Then after 50, they don't do the work, but they teach others how to.
Oh.
Okay, so they're guarding. It says they guard the duty. All right? It's like we said, guard the Torah.
Yeah.
We've been talking about guarding the Torah. This is one way of guarding the Torah. Okay, they're guarding the duty. So what they're probably doing is taking 15-year-olds or 13, from 13 to 25, they're going to start teaching them how to do this stuff. Okay? It's like an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like an electrician apprentice, just like that.
It has to be done right.
It has to be done right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what happens in an electrical job, you're not doing things right, what happens?
Uh-oh.
Zzz, you're toast, right?
Yeah.
Same thing here. Same thing. Things had to be done right. Okay? Wasn't thrown together. So the older men then turned around and they taught the younger men ready to coming up to be 25. But they also watched over while someone was doing it and making sure they were doing it right. Okay? Someone started doing something wrong. Whoa, that's wrong.
Like a job of a foreman.
Yes, hey.
Yeah. Oh.
Supervisor.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I always wondered, what if they messed up? But see, this God's setting it in place so no one would.
Yeah.
So, okay, 9. And Adonai spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai in the first new moon of the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, so it's been 2 years, right? Now let the children of Israel perform the Pesach as its appointed time. On the 14th day of this new moon, between the evenings, perform it at its appointed time, according to all its laws and right rulings, you perform it. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel to perform the Pesach. So they performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the first new moon between the evenings in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that Adonai commanded Moshe, so the children of Israel did. So it's been like 2 years, and now they're going to do the Pesach. Got the temple all ready, got everything all ready, perfectly ready, and they're doing it. But there were men who defiled for being a man, so that they were not able to perform the Pesach on that day. So here's an out. You talk about grace, and the Lord always having grace and mercy. He has it right here. There's an out for certain situations, all right? When I mean an out, we'll see here. Okay, but there, again, verse 6, but there were men who were defiled for being a man, so they were not able to perform the Pesach on that day. So they came to before Moses and Aaron that day, and those men said to him, we are defiled for being of a man. Why are we withheld from bringing near the offerings of Adonai as it appointed time among the children of Israel. And Moses said to them, wait, let me hear what Adonai commands concerning you. Okay,
Again, proof they didn't have an oral law. Yes, to go to the Lord.
right. So Moses is going to go to the Lord. And this is a good principle for us. If there's a question in the congregation and nobody knows the answer, then we wait. We go before the Lord and we pray and we ask the Lord. We don't hurry up and just pick something out of the blue and do it. Well, it seems right to do this. No,
No.
we wait. Okay.
And what I noticed too, reading the Old Testament, is God did way more talking.
Yeah.
Today we do all praying and talking, and I the other day I was reading that and I'm like, you know what, Nola? God's doing the talking here, not the people. They're listening and obeying.
Right.
And so I was like, you know, we need to change that up.
Right.
We do it
Because-
our
Way.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, 10. And Adonai spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, when any male of you or your generation is unclean for a being or is far away on a journey, he shall still perform the Pesach of Adonai. On the 14th day of the second new moon, between the evenings, they perform it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They eat it. They do not leave of it until morning, and they do not break a bone of it. According to the laws of Pesach, they perform it. But if a man who is clean, is not on a journey, and has failed to perform the Pesach, that same being shall be cut off from among his children, because he did not bring the offering of Adonai as it is appointed time. That man bears his sin. And when a stranger sojourns among you, then he shall perform the Pesach of Adonai. He shall do so according to the law of Pesach and according to the right ruling. You have one law both for the stranger and native of the land. Okay, so day the second new moon. Okay, so it's actually like a month later he can do it.
Yeah, a whole month. 1 month.
A whole month. So if you can't do it that time because you're traveling, you fly to Europe, fly somewhere, you're in another state and you can't get back home to do your Pesach, a month later you can do it.
Yeah.
So, but the important thing, you must do it.
on
So-
the 14th day.
Yeah, so God's giving you time a month later to get back and to perform the Pesach.
Oh, my.
So God is being very generous here. Okay? So,
But it can't be just any day either.
right,
Right,
There's
exactly.
only
There's
one day, one other day.
one other day.
And you can't just decide I want to do the second month instead of the first. 'Cause
Right.
If you are clean, you better do it.
So it says, if
okay.
you are clean, you better do it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well,
The point to make here is those people lived at strict standards. right?
correct,
It's not helter-skelter like it is in this country today.
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
It's out of control.
correct.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Everybody does what they want.
Yep.
That's why I like this. We got holidays. He lined it all out. And why the Christian church, they really didn't do themselves a favor
They changed it.
by changing it, because it's so much fun. It creates community. A lot of problems would
Be gone.
they wouldn't be it. They would be, they'd be taking care of the widows and the orphans and doing the deed and not creating what we've created. And it
Yeah, I know.
would just be it would have been so much easier. But anyway, we're doing it now, so that's good.
Well,
Verse 15. And on that day, or on the day that the dwelling place was raised up, the cloud covered the dwelling place, the tent of witness. From evening until morning, it was above the dwelling place like the appearance of fire. Thus as it was continually. The cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Man, that would have been a sight to see.
Oh, man.
This cloud, covering everybody, keeping the hot sun off them. And then at night, you saw this fire come down from heaven. It just was like a fire. It's
Oh.
like,
I thought maybe the cloud turned into fire.
well, I don't know, but something turned into fire.
Yeah.
And it was setting over the tent.
well,
Didn't burn the tent up. It was over the Holy of Holies. And it went all the way up as far as the eye could see.
That's supernatural.
Yeah, everything is
Oh,
supernatural.
totally.
Yeah.
It was a manifestation of the presence of God,
right.
of His Holy Spirit.
They didn't
Yeah.
have searchlights in them days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, they had to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They weren't any different than you and I.
Had to scare the animals away.
We talked about this. Okay, because our situation with our bathroom, right?
Yeah.
How did they go to the bathroom?
Oh, think about it. All
I told her, I bet they had carts with a mule, or I mean, not a mule because that was not kosher, but a horse or a cow or oxen
Or a donkey.
or a donkey, and the guy had to go around and pick all these because there camped 3 million people, and they had to go outside the
Yeah,
camp.
God's rule was
So-
you had to go outside the camp. And
So
cover
this
it up.
person wasn't gonna 3 million people. I know they're sitting in a circle, but they still would have had to walk a half a mile.
Yeah,
or more.
And I was thinking, wow, if you had to go really back, how did you get that far?
So, you know the old
Even be inside? I mean,
Well, that's what we were wondering, if maybe they had like chamber pots.
we're
Like
thinking they
our
had big buckets or
ancestors
big
here.
things that they stuck in the ground there, and then they went to the bathroom, did their thing, and every day there was one guy from that tribe.
Yeah.
Hey, you're janitor today, buddy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they picked it up, put it on the cart, and they took them out, and they did it right, discarded them, then brought them back.
They had to bury it.
They had to bury it.
outside the camp.
We just thinking about that, you know,
Yeah.
because no one's gonna get up during the middle of the night and run a mile. I gotta go.
Yeah, well, you know, my grandmother and them, when they were little, they had, in each bedroom, they had a chamber pot.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night, then my grandmother's job was to go around and take those and take them out of that house and dump them, you know.
Women had to work too.
Yeah.
I mean, when she was a little girl, that was her job.
How our
And cleanse themselves.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
how society today has forgotten all that stuff.
I know.
Like
we just,
I can remember the outhouse yet.
Yeah.
When I was a kid growing
Yep.
up, there was an outhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
me
had an
too.
outhouse. We didn't have when I was little, 4 years old. There was no bathroom. There was an outhouse. It was a 2-seater.
Yeah, ours was
Oh.
We never used two seats.
Yeah,
I was in the city by then. I bypassed the outhouse, but we take it for granted. Like
Yeah.
it's been like, it feels like it's been like this forever, but it really
it really hasn't. Just 2 generations, basically.
Yeah.
If it keeps up, it's gonna return to that kind of condition.
I know.
Oh, dear Lord.
to the outhouse
Yeah.
condition.
It's gonna be a survival situation.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 17. And whenever the cloud was taken up from the tent, after the children of Israel would depart, in the place where the cloud dwelt, there the children of Israel would camp. At the mouth of Adonai, the children of Israel departed. In the command of Adonai, they camped. They remained camped as long as the cloud dwelt above the dwelling place. Even when the cloud lingered many days above the dwelling place, the children of Israel guarded the charge of Adonai and did not depart. And so it was, when the cloud was above the dwelling place a few days, according to the mouth of Adonai, they camped, and according to the mouth of Adonai, they would depart. And so it was, when the cloud dwelt only from the evening until morning. When the cloud was taken up in the morning, they departed. Whether by day or by night, whether the cloud was taken up, they departed. Whether by day or night. So what
Wow.
if at nighttime, midnight,
The fire lifted up.
the fire lifted up and everybody, oh, suddenly got dark, went outside, God's moving, we got to move.
Wow.
Whether 2 days or new moon or year, that the cloud lingered above the dwelling place to dwell upon it, the children of Israel camped and did not depart. When it was taken up, they departed. At the mouth of Adonai they camped, and at the mouth of Adonai they departed. They guarded the charge of Adonai at the mouth of Adonai by the hand of Moshe. Wow.
How many days you think he gave him the back?
That's what I wonder.
I don't know. I'm thinking of that big tabernacle. But, you know, they had it.
Everybody had their job.
Everybody had their job. There was no sitting on the computer 24/7 playing games. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had their job. Same with the Levites.
Many hands make light work is what they used to tell me.
Okay, chapter 10. You know, and I spoke to Moshe, saying, make 2 silver trumpets for yourself, make them of beaten work. and you shall use them for the gathering of the congregation and for breaking camp. So when God tells us this, it means they probably did have a little trouble in the future getting people to move because they didn't have a trumpet yet. So he's telling them here to make 2 trumpets, okay?
Okay.
And blow them, and shall use them for the gathering of the congregation and for breaking camp. So they blow these 2 trumpets, and everybody hears them, and then they know, got to break camp, start packing. And when they blow both of them, all the congregation shall meet before you at the door of the tent of appointment. And if they blow one, then the leaders, the heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather to you.
How come they didn't blow the shofar?
I know,
Well,
I don't, these are special.
These are special, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that too.
When you blow a shout, the camp that lies on the east side shall depart. Okay, you know that's Judah, right? And when you blow a shout of the second time, then the camp that lie on the south side shall depart. They blow a shout for them to depart. Okay, and when they blow it to be assembled, they blow but do not shout. And the sons of Aaron the priest blow with trumpets, and it shall be to you for a law forever throughout your generations. And when you go into battle in your land against the enemy that distress you, then you shall shout with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Adonai your Elohim. You shall be saved from your enemies. So they use this to gather the people, to gather the elders, and for war. And in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and at the beginning of your new moons, you shall blow the trumpets over your ascending offerings, over your solars of peace offerings. So we got to blow the trumpet every new moon.
Yeah, well, this is silver trumpets.
Well, we'll blow the shofar too.
Okay.
Well, we need to get
Yes,
a
of
trumpet
course.
then.
And they shall be remembrance for you
I've got
before
2.
your Elohim. I'm Adonai your Elohim. And it came to be on the 20th day of the second new moon in the second year that the cloud was taken up from before the dwelling place of the witness. And the children of Israel departed, setting out from the wilderness of Sinai. So they're leaving Mount Sinai after 2 years and celebrating Pesach. Okay? Just like leaving Egypt, right? They celebrated Pesach that night and left in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's in the second year, so I don't think it's 2 years. It's just
Well,
1.
in the second year, okay? 1 year,
I mean, I don't
whatever.
know. I wonder.
Yeah.
Thus they departed the first time, according to the month of Adonai, by the hand of Moshe. Okay, and here's where you get the banner. And the banner of the camp of the children of Yehuda departed first, according to their division. And over their army was Nahshon, son of Aminadab. So the army would have went first. Okay, so you have Judah with the flags and the army go first. And then the children and the wives come after them. Okay? So the army is going to go first to make sure it's safe. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nathaniel, son of Zaar. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab, son of Halan. Okay? So these are the 3 tribes of the east, facing the east, that go first. Their armies. And the dwelling place was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari departed, bearing the dwelling place. So now you got, notice how this is going now. You got the tents and the poles, all right, going next. Okay? Not the ark, not the menorah, not the showbread. That's not. Just the poles in the tent itself. Okay?
Okay.
Then it says, in the banner of the camp of Reuben departed according to their divisions. And over their army was Eliezer, son of Shadir. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Simeon was Shelamu, son of Zurishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad was Elisaph, the son of Duel. Now here we go. And the Kohathites departed from the holy objects, while the dwelling place was set up before they camped. Okay, so you got 6 tribes, and the army's going first. In between the third and fourth army is the tents and stuff.
Yeah.
So the ark and the holy elements are right dab in the middle of all of Israel. It's the center of Israel. The ark is in the center. It's the center when it's set up. It's in the center when they move.
Oh, okay.
So the ark and the showbread and the altars and the menorah is always protected. It's in this very center.
Yeah.
Let's back up a second.
Yeah.
Go back to, verse 11.
Okay.
Okay, and it came on the 20th day of the second month. So if Pesach was on the 14th day, okay, that was a holy day, they didn't do anything. They
Right.
started packing on the 15th, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, they were marching. So they had 5 days to
Yep.
put together.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
But it says the cloud lifted then, so how did they know it was gonna lift on that day?
Well, when it lifted,
Yeah.
They knew.
It might have lifted and didn't move.
it didn't.
Well,
move,
it
but-
says on the 20th day, the cloud lifted. Well, that's what mine looks like, that's the day the cloud lifted.
on the 20th, well, when it lifted on the
What verse
20th,
was
that's when
that?
they moved,
Oh,
okay? But
so you
they-
think there was a warning ahead of time?
Well, there was,
There had to be some time to pack everything, get ready.
They didn't have a whole lot. Remember, their clothes never wore out.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
They didn't have.
They just had their tents to take down,
They
but they
just-
had to have cooking pots and they had all their animals. And
Have you watched The Chosen? They don't have very much. They quickly take everything out and put everything up.
Is that
Just
on
get with the
Netflix?
program.
Where do I find the
No,
Chosen?
well, we have the CD. Can you play DVDs at your house?
I
Maybe
have
not.
to dig out my DVD.
Oh,
player.
yeah,
you
because
got
we
it
have the
in?
whole set of the
You got it
DVD set. for
Not now, but we
season
can bring them
one.
Saturday.
Oh.
You guys, if you
But
want
there
to
is a
watch
way to
them,
watch it online.
they are awesome.
Yeah, I know, I'll just look at it.
Yeah.
Where online?
YouTube.
Well,
Well, you have to find-
no, they kind of disappear on YouTube after a while.
Yeah,
But there's an app, and
Yeah.
I was able to watch it on my computer with that app, I think. But anyway, we'll have to talk about that later.
Okay, let's see. Where am I? Oh, the army, of the tribe of children of Gad. In the banner of camp of the children of Ephraim, verse 22, departed according to their division, and over their army was Elishama, son of Ammihad, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamil, son of Pedusur, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, son of Gedoni. Then the banner of camp of the children of Dan, which formed the rear guard of all the camps, departed according to their division, and over the army was Ahiezer, son of Amishadai, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Okran. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Ahira, the son of Anan. Such was the order of setting out from the children of Israel according to their division when they departed. And Moshe said to Hobab, the son of Reu, the Midianite, Moshe's father-in-law, we are setting out for the place of which Adonai said, I give it to you. Come with us, and we shall do good to you, for Adonai has spoken good concerning Israel. And he replied to him, I am not going, but I'm going to my own land and to my relatives. Then he said, please do not leave us, because you know how we are to camp in the wilderness, and you shall be our eyes. And it shall be when you go with us, then it shall be that whatever good Adonai does to us, the same we shall do to you. So they set out from the mountain of Adonai on a journey of 3 days. So he did go with them.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like you did.
He went with them. In the ark of the covenant of Adonai went before them for the 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And the cloud of Adonai was above them by day when they went out from the camp. And it came to be whenever the ark set out that Moshe said, rise up, O Adonai, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee from you. And when it rested, he said, return, O Adonai, to the countless thousands of Israel.
They would address too. It's-
So when the ark was moving, this is why when they get to the kings, they took the ark into battle. Literally, Saul took the ark into battle. The priests were supposed to carry it in
Yeah.
Wow.
when they started fighting.
Yeah, because the presence of the Lord was
Yes.
above the ark.
All right. See, there's order. One good thing about that chapter, you see God has a plan and an order for everything and how everything is done.
Very orderly.
Very orderly. Who's supposed to go first? Who goes last? How they go? Where?
No chaos.
Yep. There's no chaos in God's camp. All right.
Wow.
So do
There's
you know
no
the
chaos
story-
in God's camp.
You know the story when the Philistines stole the ark? Because they realized that when the Israelites had their ark,
Yeah.
they would win the battle, seemed like, so they stole it.
Oh.
Yeah. Saul
And you know
lost
what
it and
happened?
died, and they took the ark.
No.
Right?
They stole it. And it's in Samuel.
Okay. They stole the
And-
ark. Anyways, I thought
I don't
Saul
think
lost
it's-
it.
You think
in battle.
No, Eli was still alive then. He died when he heard about it.
Oh, that's right. When Eli heard about it.
And,
That's right.
So it has to be in First Kings.
I'm gonna
First
keep
Samuel, but
you.
anyway,
You find it. I'm keep
so
reading.
the Philistines started getting tumors and everything. Started getting sick and
Yep.
dying, and so then they knew they had to send it back. So they put in some gold things of the tumors. I don't know what they looked like, but somehow they made gold images of the tumor and put them in there. And then they took maybe two mother oxes, female oxen that had just had babies, and they took the babies away. They hooked the ark on a cart to those oxen, took the babies away from them, and then just let them go. And those oxen took it back to, even though they didn't
Yeah.
go to their babies, they took it back to the Israelites.
Whoa.
Isn't that amazing? It's a long story. It goes on, tells
Yeah,
what
goes
happened
on.
when it got back there and everything. I'll
Okay.
find it while he goes on.
Chapter 11. It came to be when the people were as complainers, it was evil in the ears of Adonai. And Adonai heard it, and his displeasure burned. And the fire burned among them and consumed those in the outskirts of the camp. And the people cried out to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to Adonai, and the fire died down. Okay. And then he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of Adonai had burned among them. And the mixed multitudes who were in their midst lusted greatly. Okay. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who is giving us meat to eat? So you don't just lust. There's many different forms of lust of the flesh, all right?
It starts in 1 Samuel 4.
Okay.
1 Samuel 4, if you want to read it.
So you had a mixed multitude, all right?
Yeah, amen.
Verse
That's
5.
what's really awesome.
We remember the fish which we ate without cost in Egypt, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our being is dried up. There's not to look at but this manna. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and it appeared like the appearance of bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, ground it on millstones, or beat it in the mortar, and cooked it in the pot, and made cakes of it. And its taste was as taste of cakes baked with oil. And when the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it.
Okay, I didn't hear what you read in verse 1. They complained about what? What does your translation say they complained about, and then the fire came
It
out?
didn't say about anything. It just says when the people were as complainers, it was evil in the ears of Adonai.
Oh, because mine says it complained about their misfortunes. What do you guys say?
What verse?
In verse 1, now the people complained in the hearing of Adonai about their, does it say about something?
Now the people became as again having something evil to complain about in the ears of Jehovah. When Jehovah got to hear it, then his anger grew hot, and a fire
Hey,
of Jehovah began to blaze
take this guy
against them. and to consume some in the extremity of the camp. It don't say what he was afraid of.
Oh, is
Right.
that what they're complaining about? Oh, so I don't mind. My translate is just,
So, okay. All right, here we go. Verse 10.
10.
And Moshe heard the people weeping throughout their clans, each man at the door of his tent. And the displeasure of Adonai burned exceedingly, and in the eyes of Moshe was evil. So Moshe said to Adonai, why have you done evil to your servant, and why have I not found favor in your eyes, to put the burden of all these people on me? Was it I who conceived all these people? Was it I who brought them forth? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as the foster father carries a nursing child, to the land which you swore to their fathers. Where am I to get meat to give to all these people? For they weep before me, saying, give us meat to eat. I'm unable to bear all these people alone because the burden is too heavy for me. Okay. And if you are doing this to kill me, please kill me, if I have found favor in your eyes, and let me not see my evil. So Moshe is having a bad day, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got a lot of responsibility.
All right. Then Adonai said to Moshe, gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of appointment and let them stand there with you. Okay, so this is where the Sanhedrin is started. We're gonna have 70 men. All right. This is where Adonai starts the Sanhedrin. All right. So gather to me 70 men of elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and the officers over them, and bring them to the tent of appointment and let them stand there with you. All right. So that's a good point. They're bringing the elders, or these 70 men. They are leaders of their tribes. All right. And he's going to bring them with Moses, and they're supposed to stand with him. Verse 17, and I shall come down and speak with you there, and shall take of the spirit that is on you and put it on them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you do not bear it yourself alone. And say to the people, set yourselves apart for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, because you have wept in the hearing of Adonai, saying, who is giving us meat to eat? For it is well with us in Egypt, and Adonai shall give you meat, and you shall eat. And you're going to eat not 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but for a new moon of days, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes an abomination to you, because you have rejected Adonai, who's among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? Okay.
God's got that side to it. I mean, and nobody wants to hear it.
Right.
That's a little bit, I mean.
Right.
That's.
Right.
I know it's, you get mad, we're not supposed to get mad, but, it's coming out of your nostrils. See, that's what I'm saying. Who can make peace with that? And say that God's an all good God, and Ken, just let me go here. I get to comment too without being shut down. But who does that? That's pretty,
Wait.
you know what I mean? It's gonna come out of your nostrils. I mean, that's when we say God's gracious and loving and kind, but he's got another side to him.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
also.
even for me, I mean, just.
I know. So.
Okay, God, how can I even live up to that? Because I know we got Jesus, but I'm saying I don't know how to wrap my head around that.
Wait.
When we have an image of God, all loving and kind, how do you reconcile all that? That's all I'm saying. Every time I bring something up, I'm trying to say, hey, what's this really angry, kind of out of order
Yeah.
with God? I mean, that's pretty, it's gonna come out of your nostrils
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
Because they want a little meat and they're tired
Yeah.
of manna. I mean, I get tired of eating the same thing over and over.
I know.
What's your take on it?
Well, God doesn't like complaining.
We got that. Well,
Yeah, I
we're all
know,
doomed
but-
then.
God's judgment is just. Okay, even Yeshua says it. Judgment is just. You remember the old, you make your bed, you sleep in it. They made their bed, they sleep in it, right? That old saying, they made their bed, they sleep in it.
Yeah.
So God has, even with the cross, all right? Even with the cross and the salvation in the blood of Yeshua is not supposed to be taken lightly. We don't water things down. So much has been watered down.
Oh, that, okay.
See, so much has been watered down.
I can be like that too. I can be blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, let me finish. I like this explanation. It helps me.
I have something to say when you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy's still on. I mean, I don't know what you do to block.
He is blocked.
Well, it's not blocked because he's right back over it, putting things on again.
My dad
So,
he used to whine
They
when we were
can't see
kids.
it. Only we can see
He
it.
said, eat and eat and eat till you get sick.
right,
That's the
Oh.
penalty you pay for
Right.
crying and moaning and groaning.
right.
Well, see, look at it here. They're saying if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt, and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions.
Right.
Listen, when they were in Israel in Egypt, I mean, what were they? They were
Slaves.
slaves. And what was he doing to their baby boys?
Yeah.
Threw them in the
was
river.
throwing them in the Nile. Their baby boys. Okay, they were not treated well. And a friend of mine just did a study on this.
Yeah.
She found that the Egyptians knew that onions and garlic made you healthy and strong. So yeah, they fed them, but why were they feeding them? Because they wanted them to be healthy and strong, to do their work
Right.
for them. They're remembering it with starry eyes. What was horrible? It was so horrible. They were crying out to God, and God heard them and came to Moses and said, "I've heard the crying out of the people." And God delivered them, and now look what they do. They complain to him. Like they want to go back to what God worked so hard to. God did all those miracles and everything so that Pharaoh would let them go. And then he destroyed the army so Pharaoh couldn't get them anymore. And now they're complaining and want to go back. It's only this is still only 1 year or 2 years later.
Yeah.
It's not that long later. And they're
Yeah.
already not
And-
appreciating at all what God just did.
Oh,
And it's like what
These
Jesus-
thoughts got
So it's a little
boundaries.
bit-
It's hard for me.
It's hard for us to see God's point of
It's
of
like
it,
Jesus said in
his
or
point of
Yeshua
view
said in
of it.
the Messiah said in the New Testament, whoever puts their hands to the plow and looks back is not worthy of the kingdom of heaven. So God doesn't want you to go back to yesterday. People who wallow in yesterday are no good.
Yeah.
You're supposed to look ahead and move ahead.
Okay.
So and
So
listen,
I just need to
it's,
take it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just.
Yeah.
and it's not long
We're
after
supposed
this.
to
Yeah.
love, joy, and peace, and then when I
Yeah.
hear stuff like
Right,
that.
I know,
I mean,
yeah.
I've been in the New Testament. I mean, now we're getting back into this.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
But listen, it's only a little bit of time after this. I don't know if it's just a couple
Okay,
months or a
couple
couple of weeks when he wants them to go in and conquer the land. So they were only going to have manna for a few more months, and they were going to be able to get into the land. But of course, they rebelled and had to stay there 40 years. But God's plan was that they were soon going to be done with this manna. That was his original plan. So they were almost to the end of having manna in God's plan, and they're complaining. So just think of it as a parent or as you're a leader of people, and you've got this whole plan, and they're almost finished to the finish line, and they're complaining and wanting to go back to where you just led them out
Yeah.
of,
that is so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
I
get
mean,
that.
it's,
So God,
and he
God
did-
has boundaries.
Yes.
he already gave them meat one time, Of course they could ask for meat, but look how they asked for it. they're sassing. They're not just saying, "Can you please give us meat? We're
Or
We're hungry
praying
for
and
meat.
ask
Yeah.
for-
Right,
But they're
right,
not asking that way.
So-
They're asking out of a rebellious heart, and they're saying all these
right.
awful things about what he's giving them, and you know
Okay,
Same
so
with
how much we hate this man.
You're
And
scolding God. You get what you deserve.
she woke up.
okay, let's read on. Yes. So God, see,
My
here's
voice wake you up. I'm sorry.
people.
No, she's all right.
People get in trouble because they don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
People get in trouble because they don't have boundaries.
Amen.
God has boundaries.
Free spirit.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So-
good, yeah. Well, I have to bring that up.
So, yeah.
Because we're in the love, joy, and
Yeah,
peace,
yeah.
grace, and mercy.
And-
I'm
Yeah.
And look
like,
how
well,
good.
he's got another side too.
Yeah. And look how good the manna tasted. It
Yeah.
tasted like cakes baked in oil. I mean, it sounds like it tasted really good, but of course you can get tired of anything, of course. But
I never get tired of Oreos.
well, there you
Oh, there you
go.
Okay. All right. Verse 21. And Moshe said to the people who's in the midst, I am our 600,000 men on foot, and you have said I give them meat to eat for a new moon of days. Could flocks and herds be slain for them to be sufficient for them, or could all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to be sufficient for them? 23. And Adonai said to Moshe, is the arm of Adonai too short? Now see whether my words meet you or not. Moshe went out and spoke to the people of the words of Adonai, and he gathered the 70 men of elders of the people and placed them around the tent. And Adonai came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took the spirit that was upon him and placed the same upon the 70 elders. It came to be when the spirit rested upon them, that they prophesied, but did not continue. However, all right, 2 men had remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the spirit rested upon them. Now they were among those listed, but did not go out to the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. She had 2 men that kept on prophesying. And a young man ran and informed Moshe and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. And Yehoshua the son of Nun, Moshe's assistant from his youth, answered and said, Moshe, my master, forbid them. Then Moses said to him, are you jealous for my sake? Oh, that all the people of Adonai were prophets, that Adonai would put his spirit upon them. And when you can go to Acts and you say, Paul, I wish that everybody would prophesy.
Yeah.
This is where Paul's getting it from. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And Moshe returned to camp, both he and the elders of Israel. Verse 31. And the wind went forth from Adonai, and it brought quail from the sea, and let them fall beside the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and about a day's journey on the other side, all around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the surface of the ground. And the people were up all that day, and all night, and all the next day, and gathered the quail. He who had least gathered 10 homers. Okay, about 6 bushels. 1 homer is 6 bushels. And they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. The meat was still between their teeth before it was chewed, and the wrath of Adonai burned against the people, and Adonai struck the people with an exceedingly great plague. Then he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who had lusted.
Well, he warned them.
He warned them.
He warned them that this is going to happen,
So-
and they still went and gorged themselves.
Oh.
Look, they collected all night, and all day. They're wow,
Okay.
all night and all day and all the next night. How many quail did they think they needed to satisfy themselves?
So from Kibroth Hattaavah, the people set out for Hatzeroth, and they were at Hatzeroth. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah.
12, last chapter. Now Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Cushite woman he had taken, for he had taken a Cushite woman. And they said, has Adonai spoken only through Moshe? Has he not only also spoken through us? And Adonai heard it. Be careful what you say behind closed doors. Somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Okay. And the man Moshe was very humbled, more than all men who are on the face of the earth. Okay.
Oh.
So that's a good character to have.
Obviously, he didn't write that part. Obviously, somebody else put that in there
Yeah.
because that wouldn't be very humble if you wrote
And
that.
suddenly Adonai said,
Yeah, I'd love to meet this man on earth.
and suddenly Adonai said to Moshe and Aaron and Miriam, you three come out to the tent of appointment. So the three came out. So Adonai is going to address a problem. And Adonai came down in a column of cloud and stood in the door of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both went forward. And he said, hear now my words. If your prophet is of Adonai, I make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moshe. He is trustworthy in all my house. I speak to him mouth to mouth, face to face. It says in different versions. And plainly and not in riddles. And he sees the form of Adonai. So why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? And the displeasure of Adonai burned against them, and he left. And the cloud turned away from above the tent, and look, Miriam was leprous, as white as snow. And Aaron turned toward Miriam, and look, a leper. And Aaron said to Moshe, O my master, please do not hold against us the sin in which we have done foolishly, in which we have sinned. Please do not let her be as one dead when he comes out of the mother's womb with his flesh half consumed. And Moshe cried out to Adonai, saying, O El, please heal her, please. And Adonai said to Moshe, if her father had but spit in her face, would she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out of the camp 7 days, and after that let her be readmitted. Miriam was shut out of the camp 7 days, and the people did not set out until Miriam was readmitted. And after the people departed from Hazeroth, and they camped in the wilderness of Paran. Okay. So
Now, you know, it says, be careful. Why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? You got to look at what it says in Romans 13, I believe it is. Or 14, 13 or 14, I think. Oh, and an Acts, I wonder. Yeah, it's in 14, Acts 14. In verse 4. It sounds almost kind of similar. This translation says, who are you to pass judgment on servants of another? It is before their own Lord that they stand or fall. They will be upheld, for the Lord is able to make them stand.
where are you reading from?
No, Romans 14. Romans 14, verse 4.
Okay.
And then down in verse 10, why do you pass judgment on your brother or sister? Verse 4. And verse 13, let us therefore no longer pass judgment on one another. But that one, who are you to pass judgment on the servants of another? So on the servant of Adonai, that's what God said here. Why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? It is before their own Lord before God that they stand or fall, and God, Adonai, is able to make them stand. They will be upheld if they're his servant. So we do need to be careful and we don't want to join the accuser of the brethren, right? The devil stands he stands and accuses us all day, night and day, it says, right? We don't want to join him or let him use our mouths to accuse the brethren. Or the sister. brothers
Yeah.
or sisters.
Yeah, or sisters.
Or leaders. You gotta
Well,
be careful.
You take this all into context here. What is being explained here?
Yeah, I know.
Read
but-
before it and read after it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's talking about food and stuff, but still.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
what? You don't think it means that so we can pass judgment on people?
I'm saying we have to know the truth. So if somebody is speaking a lie, we have to discern.
Yeah.
Okay. We just don't let anybody just say anything. Oh, well, that's God's servant, so we
Well,
can't say anything against
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
That's
so she
true.
does say
That's-
rebuke her brother.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
So you
Yeah.
you have to be careful.
That's true. You
So-
have to discern whether they
We have to
really
discern.
are Adonai's
So,
servants. And,
just
yeah,
because
if
they
they're
stand
going
up and they-
astray,
and they whatever, you have to be careful. So yeah. So yeah,
know how
so
human
That's
we
a
are,
lot
how
of
quick
stuff
we are
in there.
to.
That's a lot of action in those.
yeah.
church actions.
So yeah, and we're gonna. So yeah, cool. All right. So done for the night. Blessings, everyone. Shalom, shalom, shalom.